Okay, guys and girls, it's Tom Panos here, coming to you Sunday Night Rant, live from the Bay Run. And in a moment, Susan's going to actually bring in our Instagram viewers as well. We're just going to wait for this audience to build up. Hello. This time I won't be able to actually comment on as people come on, because we're using the reverse camera. Susan can see people coming on. Hello to Insta. How you going? Guys and girls, we have got a great Sunday Night Rant coming to you here. Susan, can I confirm Facebook is coming there live? We got people on Facebook? Yep. Let's get this audience building up, because today's topic, perfect timing, on the 30th of December. Tomorrow is the end of 18 and the day after is the beginning of 19. A great time for us to sit around and say to ourselves, hey, let's make a future. Don't worry about the plane, Susan. They're natural causes. We're going to keep going. And I want to let you know, what is today about? The fact that the past is fixed and the future is changeable. So guys and girls, as this audience is building up, what I'd like you to do is to actually tag in a friend, press the share button. It's on the bottom. Press that share button. Let's get a big audience tonight, because I believe that what I'm giving you is what I'm giving myself. Hello everyone on Insta. Hello everyone on Facebook. And I'm going to say to you that today we're going to talk about 9 irrefutable laws to make the future bigger than the past, to make 19 bigger than 18. And I'm going to tell you, and I'm going to start off to say to you, is that you've got to understand the future is in your hands. It hasn't happened yet. I said it before, the past is fixed, but the future is changeable. So today, as you sit here and you're watching this, I want you to sit from a position of curiosity. I want you to sit from a position of possibility, not probability. And I want you to think from imagination. Why? Because when you think from imagination, you can actually mentally plan what 2019 is going to look like. And I'm going to start off and I'm going to ask you this question. This is the question. This is the big one. And that is, if you were here in this spot, this day in 2019, so in 12 months ahead, what would have had to have happened for you to have had the best year of your life? I want you to think about that, because I think great questions give great answers. And I want you to think about, what will your life have to look like on the 31st of December in 2019? What will your life have to look like physically, like weight, body fat ratio? What would your life have to look like in terms of income? What would your life have to look like in terms of family? What would your life have to look like in terms of your financial investments? All I'm saying is this: an idiot with a plan does 20 times better than a genius without one. And I want you to have a life by design, not a life by accident. So rule number 1 is, have a belief that the future can be better than the past. That's rule number 1, to have that belief. Rule number 2 is this: always make your courage bigger than your comfort. There's a thing called the comfort trap. And what the comfort trap does is it traps you into staying where you are now because it sort of feels okay. It's a little bit like that experiment where you get that fly, you put it in a jar, you put a lid on, and then the fly tries to get out, and it hits the ceiling of the lid of the jar, and it keeps hitting it and hitting it and hitting it. And after a while, it becomes conditioned to realize it can't get out. And then when you take the lid off, the fly doesn't even attempt to actually leave the jar, because it's been conditioned to accept it can't happen. And for many people watching this video, I think that they're sitting in a jar with no lid. that they have conditioned themselves. And I don't know what's happened. You might have been fucked over by a business partner. You may have been betrayed by your lover. You may have been let down by a colleague. You may have actually tried a few things, they didn't work out, and you know what you do? You settle for less. And you say, things aren't great, but let's not complain. I've got a job. I have to say to you, I want you to start looking about what you get through the day, not what just, like most people, what they do is they just want to fucking wake up Monday to Friday and bloody go work in a corporate prison. That's what most corporations are. And I want you to start thinking, if you're an entrepreneur, you're a salesperson, you don't work in a bureaucracy. What you're about is not hours you put in. What you're about is value you create. And that is another belief I'm going to talk about. It's another one of the laws that the best of the best have. But rule number 2 is I want you to start thinking, I am going to choose to pick courage over comfort. And why? Because you're probably madly in love with the way you're currently doing things. But remember, what got you here won't get you there. And that's what we're talking about. What we want you to do is to be aiming up for the skies and to have the best year of your life. And I'm telling you, it begins today. Number 3, I want you to have a purpose bigger than your paycheck. Listen to what I said. A purpose bigger than your paycheck. Why do I say that? I speak from my own experience. I'll tell you straight, right here, right now. I have a purpose, and that is to influence and inspire as many people I can on the planet, and to also try and eliminate suffering. That's my purpose. And what actually happens is when I focus on that, which means keep creating content, keep giving of myself to people, you know what? The money looks after itself. It becomes a byproduct. But I think when too many people pick paycheck over their purpose, what actually happens is they sell out. And what they deliver and how they show up is one of a person that has an intention to take more than giving. One of the things that I don't like about the law of reciprocity, which comes from Dr. Who is it, Susan?
Chopra.
Not Dr. No, that's not Dr. Chopra. From Robert Cialdini. Robert Cialdini talks about, he's a very wise man, but he talks about the law of reciprocity, and that is to get, you must give. Hey, don't have an approach where your intention is, I will give to get. What I'm saying is give, 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 give. The new world is really fair. What it works out is, hey, I get this girl, I get this guy, they're doing a lot of stuff. I like them, I trust them. When it comes time to do business, I'll do business with them. It doesn't matter what industry you work in. All I'm saying to you is this: become the person that gives the most amount of value. And I'm saying to you, an underlying principle I have is this. I'll say it again. I have a purpose, and you need to write your purpose statement out. And that is that your guiding principle, and that is, for me, it is to eliminate as much suffering as I can and to inspire as many people as I can. I want to move on to irrefutable law number 4, and that is choose to feel good on the inside versus just looking good on the outside. And what I mean by that is I can't help seeing the amount of people that are working jobs they hate, making money that they don't need, to buy things to impress other people that they don't give a fuck about. And that, my friends, is a recipe for misery. Because what actually happens is that you're spending your time impressing other people at the price of feeling good on the inside. And how does this play out? How does this play out? It's the person that goes off and is living a life beyond their financial means and is forced to make money and actually really put themselves under enormous stress and sometimes insomnia and sometimes unhappiness because they're worried about being judged all the time. Even now as I speak, I had a car accident, many of you know, like 2 or 3 days before Christmas, and I've got a hire car that NRMA have given me, a Mitsubishi Outlander, a brand new one, and I have to say to you, the bloody car feels fantastic. I don't feel any different. It's a $30,000 car, right? Significantly cheaper than the Porsche that I drive. And I'm beginning to think, like this year I had another accident and I had a RAV4, and I thought to myself, wow, this is easy. You know, you throw towels in, sand goes in there, you leave it anywhere, you're not worried about being scratched. And what actually happens is that I'm trying to emphasize that a lot of the happiness comes because it's an inside job. But I think a lot of people actually reach out buying external items and assets, trying to fill in a void. So maybe this year you start re-evaluating what makes you happy inside. For instance, I can tell you that I know many real estate people that would be happy to make $30,000 less and actually lose 15 kilos. I know many real estate people would actually be happy to make less money and to be sleeping well. So maybe some of the things that you need to participate and try are more exercise, meditation, maybe start living within your financial means. All I'm saying is that happy people, I notice, they're actually doing stuff that makes them dance on the inside than actually looking good on the outside. And by the way, it seems to work this way. When things are good on the inside, sort of the outside works itself out. So let's move on to irrefutable law number 5 to help you have a future bigger than your past. And by the way, a lot of my work today is inspired by a guy called Dan Sullivan, who runs a podcast. I think it's called 10X. And a lot of the content I'm talking about today came from a podcast I was listening to. Irrefutable law number 5, and that is, you must look at yourself as a value-added provider. So start focusing on the value that you give, not the hours that you work. I'll say that again. Start focusing on the value that you give, not the hours that you work. So here's how it works. If you work for the public service, right? Or you work for a corporation, right? Big company. This is how it works. You got a couple of goals. Goal number 1 is you got to make your boss happy, because your life in that organization has got a lot to do with how happy your boss is with you. So you got to make your boss happy, right? You potentially have to kiss ass to the right people, right? The next thing you've got to basically do is you've got to, appear that you're putting in the hours. But when you're an entrepreneur, what we do is we track value. So what you've got to start doing is keep saying to yourself, is what am I doing providing value? And the people that are smashing it, the girls and the guys that are smashing it, are people that are moving away from thinking of just hours and thinking of value. Let's move on to number 6. And this is probably my favorite one tonight. And that is, always focus on your unique ability. As human beings, we are born with a psychological fingerprint that says you are predisposed to being good at this. You can actually do this better than the majority of the population. And what I've worked out is that in my own life, when I focus on my unique ability and I outsource the things that I'm not good at and the things that I don't like doing, I end up actually accelerating my commercial success. I'll tell you why. Because when you focus on your unique ability and you actually enjoy it, that's a key, because you can actually be good at something and don't enjoy it. And that's got a bit of a hiccup, because what you're doing is you're doing a cash grab. You're good at it, so you get paid for it, but you actually aren't happy. And what happens is you don't really grow. Where does growth really happen? Growth happens when you add your unique ability and you also are engaged in it. And I'm going to say to you that I noticed that some great entrepreneurs, some great people in business actually move away from the unique ability. They become a manager, right? And then they start worrying about, projects, and they move away from the stuff they were great at, which is finding new clients, looking after clients, doing deals, making business, right? And they move away from that stuff. So I'm going to say to you, make 2019 the year you focus on your unique ability. And by the way, it's not like you've got to be looking that there's only one thing. Like, Don't think you're born with just one thing and everything else is bullshit. You just try things and all of a sudden you notice, hey, I'm really good at shooting video content. So I'll actually use that as my real estate get new listing strategy. Or I'm really good at actually being on the phone. Find out what your unique ability is and engage in that. I want to move on to number 7, and that is always choose education over entertainment. I'm not saying don't enjoy the holidays and read the occasional book, a story book or watching a bit of Netflix. But generally speaking, what I notice is that people engage more time in entertainment than in education. Listen to me very carefully. Formal education is going to make you a living. Self-education is going to make you a fortune. Make this the year of learning. And I'm preaching to the converted because you've chosen to trade your 20 minutes tonight on this Sunday night on education. This is not entertainment. This is education. So I give you a big tick for that, but I'm telling you, what if you did this every day? And if it wasn't a podcast, it was a YouTube clip. It wasn't a YouTube clip, you were watching some of the content that we've got on the Real Estate Gym. If it wasn't that, you reached out. How about this for a goal? Why don't you every month this year go out and have one successful person and have coffee, breakfast, lunch with them, walk out, take some notes, and I'll tell you, you do that 12 times this year, you'll find that you grow far more than any training seminar you attend. Let's move on to number 8, and that is always choose appreciation over expectation. Understand what I'm saying? It's basically called gratitude. Someone said to me today, Susan, they said this gratitude thing that you always talk about, attitude of gratitude, it's a little bit cliche-ish. So let's break it up. Let me tell you, this is the reason why I think you should trade expectation for appreciation. Number one, no matter where you are right now, you could be rock bottom. I'm telling you, it could be worse. Think about that concept for a moment. I have to say to you, this has been the most single challenging year in my life, but I'm glad that I've got an approach in my life, and that is that my future is going to be bigger than my past. And I'll tell you what's good about the past. It gives you data. It's giving you information to help you navigate in the future. So the good thing is, guys and girls, is no matter where you are right now, understand what's coming is better than what's gone. By the way, the reason why I like gratitude is it makes you feel lucky. Anyone that doesn't have gratitude has ego. And anyone that doesn't have gratitude has arrogance. And anyone that doesn't have gratitude is a silo. They're lonely. Because you know why? Because they think they're top shit because they're shit because of themselves. I'm telling you, a person that's got gratitude is a person that actually succeeds. Why? Because when you've got gratitude, you've got connection. You actually feel connected to the bigger ecosystem of the planet with other people. When you've got gratitude, you've got commitment. Why have you got commitment? Because you realize that everything you do actually may help another person, so you do more of it. Because you realize that everyone's playing a role in this planet. The street cleaner to the CEO. And also, when you've got gratitude, you know what you've got? You've got humility. Because what you realize is that, hey, life might not be great right now, but have a look at everything that's going good in my life. I'm in a great country. I've got a job. I've got fresh water. I can drink a nice beer. I'm having a Corona just before we went on. By the way, can I say to you, sometimes, you know when we were talking about before, feeling good on the inside versus, looking good on the outside? I can tell you, if I bought a box of Corona, called 4 or 5 of my closest mates, sat down here just on the bay round and just drank and just talked and joked and mucked around, that would be, like, for me, the dream night. I don't want to go lining up at Ivy nightclub waiting for 27 minutes to get 3 drinks and pay $150 and then be pissed off because it's all spilt on my shirt. And why? Just because I want to say, I was at the Ivy? No, man. I'm telling you, at the end of the day, happiness is about a connection that you have with other people, and you can have that sitting anywhere at any time. You can be sitting in a car with a friend and having it. Let's move on. Number 9. This is the last one. And that is always choose yourself and be you. Always choose yourself and be you. Why am I picking this one? Because I know a lot of people are afraid. They're too scared. Why? Because they're paranoid they're going to be judged. I'm telling you, you're going to be judged anyway. Be you. There is no better you than you. There's around 8 billion people on this planet, but there is no better you than you. That's the first thing. The second thing is, people get upset because they think if I do this and I don't fit with anyone else, they're going to gossip about me. They're going to gossip about you anyway. The next thing, I'm telling you straight, happiness is a really, a personal thing. But at the end of the day, don't look around. Look, your kid is not going to bring you internal happiness. I know that sounds weird, right? But I'm telling you straight, there are so many people that are living everyone else's lives except themselves. I'm saying to you, you can be a good parent, you can be a good partner, you can be a good employee, you can be good at everything, and at the same time, you can still choose yourself. And what am I saying about 2019? I'm saying you've got to actually create the perfect days. You have to remember, you actually have to create the perfect year. And I'm telling you, your days are your life in miniature, and there's no such thing as an unimportant day. So I'm going to ask you for you to become the creator and the architect of 2019. And the way it begins is very simple, that you actually start scheduling what a great day looks like each day. And even if you don't get 100%, but you get 75% of that day, I'm telling you, it's miles ahead of what most people on the planet are, which is that they're just trying to get through the day, not what they're trying to actually get out of the day. So guys and girls, as I finish here, I want to wish you the best in 2019. And remember, it's your life. What are you going to do about it?